We are going to be going over a story in this video that's really, really fucked up. And if the story is being told 100% truthfully, and I will admit, I do have some reservations about whether this is the case. Like, very small reservations, not much. Like, maybe 5%, I'm a little, uncertain. Then this is a really big deal. This is extremely serious, and it is not a joking matter. It is also very scary, and I have a feeling that many of you are not at all aware of it, so I'm going to be reading you a thread from a woman named Rebecca Jones. She is a legally protected whistleblower, specifically around the state of Florida's handling of COVID and Ron DeSantis' government's overt spreading of misinformation around COVID in order to maximize their own profits and self-interest. She whistleblowed a bunch of scandals that were happening in the DeSantis government. Scandals and Republicans, they go hand in hand. And she is now a legally protected whistleblower. She does, however, have a somewhat sketchy criminal history. And this is the part of it that makes me a little iffy on whether or not all of this story is true. So before I get into her thread, I'm going to preface this because there is a possibility that this story could end up being proven untrue. Because this is an insanely scary story. Like, I don't want to believe it's true. It seems very credible and very likely. And the source it's coming from is, like, a very reputable, relatively, to lie about something like this. So yeah. I just want to throw this out here, this, like, warning, just in case future developments result in the story being changed, right? And I will, of course, amend this video with maybe a new video or something if that happens, but chances are this is legit. This woman in question, while she is a legally protected whistleblower, earlier in her life, before all of that, legitimately was, like, in a domestic abusive stalker situation with an ex-boyfriend, where she was the domestically abusing stalker. She, like, vandalized his car, I think hit him multiple times, was charged multiple times, but the charges were dropped. Like, it was, I went over the charges themselves, like, on her Wikipedia, off stream. It was a rough situation. She was clearly what we would call kind of a crazy bitch when she was younger. That, however, shouldn't realistically have any bearing on this story, okay? However, I do think it is somewhat relevant because it feels like it could be somewhat relevant. That said, I am open to amending my statements on this in the future if this story is proven false. I doubt it will be, though. So that is my warning going in. Here's the thread by Rebecca Jones, legally protected COVID whistleblower. My family is not safe. My 13-year-old son has been taken on the governor's orders, and I've had to send my husband and daughter out of state for their safety. This is the reality of living in DeSantis' Florida. There is no freedom here, only retaliatory rule by a fascist who wishes to be king. This has 112,000 likes, by the way. A week after we filed our lawsuit against the state, a kid claiming to be the cousin of one of my son's classmates joined their Snapchat group. They recorded their conversations in said Snapchat group and anonymously reported my son to police for sharing a popular internet meme. They said they had to complete a threat assessment since they received an anonymous complaint, which both the local cops and the school signed off on as being a non-threat. The kids were simply joking about cops and video games, which, mostly, was just this meme. Cops in their cars waiting for the school shooter to kill himself so they can go in. And it's a picture of Boogie2988. Literally just a funny meme, posted in a Snapchat group, and this kid, this 13-year-old kid, is being charged with terrorism and has been arrested on the governor's orders. What makes me wonder is, like, what was this, like, person who claimed to be one of the classmates' like cousins who got into the fucking group chat. Was it a fucking Fed? Like a fucking undercover agent or something? For DeSantis's like state government? Anyway, we'll continue. 2 weeks later, bringing us to earlier today, an officer told me the state issued a warrant for my son's arrest for digital threats of terrorism. I asked on whose orders. The officer said it was the state. They aren't letting him come home tonight. They kidnapped my son. I had to get my husband and daughter out of here because CPS now interprets my home as dangerous because they've charged my 13-year-old son with a felony for sharing a meme. Now because a felon, her son, lives in the house, it is no longer a safe environment for her daughter to live in, to have children in. So CPS is going to try to take her daughter now. So she had to send her husband and her daughter out of state so CPS wouldn't take them because they need to live somewhere separate from her. I had to get my husband and daughter out of here because CPS now interprets my home as dangerous because they've charged my 13-year-old son with a felony for sharing a meme. Less than a week after filing the first lawsuit in America against a state's COVID lies. That's right, chat. That's right. This is all happening less than a week after she's filed the nation's first lawsuit against a state. Mind you, she's a whistleblower, so she's got insider info on this for COVID misinformation that they have spread. The state government spreading misinformation about a pandemic, she's suing them for it, and this is their blatant retaliation to go after her children. That's what Republicans do. When not all else fails, go after the children. Hit them where it hurts. Hit the left and hit the minorities where it hurts. That's the right is pure evil. By any means necessary, they seek to win. They hate children, and children are a minority, essentially. And in the way that minority is like the definition of minority as how it's used in a sociological sense, children are a minority. Rebecca Jones then goes on to say, I'm sorry for not getting back to everyone who is frantically calling and messaging me. I'm trying to keep it together and stay here and fight for my kid. This state has already gotten away with pointing guns at my son during their raid. I will not let them hurt him again. So they did a no-knock raid, an illegal no-knock raid in the past, by the way, on her home. And it was basically a swatting, essentially, where they had the entire family on the ground with assault rifles to their heads. So her children have already been held at gunpoint by the Florida State Police. This is just the next step in the retaliation. Honestly, we're going over the way that Friendly Jordies is being treated by the Australian government. This is honestly like on par. So yeah, do you guys think that we should the working class should be disarmed? Do you think the state, like the police and the state, should be the only ones that are armed? Do you guys think we should disarm the working class, especially, like, particularly the left-wing working class, who are notoriously less likely to own guns? I'm going to say no. I'm leaning more and more on no each day, as the Republicans kind of reveal more and more of their whole ass. This is literally Orwellian. Like, straight up, like, let's retaliate against a legally protected whistleblower, government whistleblower for like a lawsuit against the state. They know they're in the wrong, by the way. That's why they're doing this. Like, there are going to be people who come along to try to justify this and say the loss, like, they're doing this to, that lawsuit's unjustified. Well, clearly it's not. If this is their response to it, is to go after a child for posting a meme. Yeah. Clearly the lawsuit has, and we know the lawsuit has merit. We know what the actual truth is of this misinformation. So, yeah. Shu's saying she's fake. Oh, how perfect. Oh, well, I'm blocked by Shu on head. I can't. I have to open this in incognito mode. Hold on. This sounded like the most dystopian shit ever. A boy arrested by the government for posting a meme. Well, that's not it. I mean, leave it to Shu on head for her interpretation to be boy arrested for posting meme because her brain cells are that. Is this her actually? No way. This isn't her, right? Oh, no, it's her. Okay, never mind. It is actually I thought maybe it wasn't because the weird, like, slash through the O. I thought maybe this was a meme account that had, like, paid for Twitter verification, but, no. YouTubers sometimes bimbo populists documenting America's dystopian descent. Jesus Christ. This sounded like the most dystopian shit ever. A boy arrested by the government for posting a meme to his friends online until I read the part she conveniently left out of her thread. Investigators interviewed multiple students who spoke with the teenager as well as those who saw messages he posted on social media. In the messages to his friends, the teenager made the following statements among others. I want to shoot up the school. If I get a gun, I'm gonna shoot up school. Lol. HNMS, lol, I'm getting a Wrath and Natural Selection shirt, so maybe, but I don't think many people know what the Columbine shooters look like. So these are clearly jokes, and the police and the school signed off on them as being non-threatening jokes. So is this Shuonhead saying that kids should be arrested for joking around like this? Is Shuonhead the woman who is documenting America's dystopian descent? Is she of the belief that like these jokes justify the kid being charged with a felony? Okay. I'm getting a Wrath and Natural Selection shirt, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's been like 3 to 4 weeks since I got my new antidepressants and they aren't working, but they're supposed to do by now, so I have no hope in getting better, so why not kill the losers at school? These are clearly teenagers making edgy jokes. This is the kind of shit 13-year-olds find funny. Shuonhead knows this. Like, come on, Shuonhead, you know this is what teenagers find funny, and also, the school and the police signed off on this being non-threatening. It was the state. It was on the orders of the state that they went out of their way to extra-legally do this, after he was, like, this was already determined not to be a threat. The teenager told one of his friends that he planned to shoot up the school on the Thursday before spring break, but there was too many things going on, so he postponed it until March 31st. Yeah, the police already determined that this wasn't a threat and that this was them joking around. I wonder where she got this link to. Leave it to Shuonhead to find some excuse to justify Republicans engaging in the most dystopian shit ever while finding every excuse to say that, like, progressives saying you maybe shouldn't say the N-word or whatever is like the biggest example of dystopian anti-free speech shit ever. So yeah, I fully stand by everything I've said about Shuonhead. She is a massive piece of shit. And this story is fucking terrifying if true. And as I said, I'm completely open to this story, you know, ending up being completely untrue if it happens, but Shuonhead was not able to provide any evidence that was the case there, so yeah. You want to see what Shuonhead conveniently clipped out? Literally the paragraph below that sentence. That is a Shuonhead move right there. Shuonhead she learned that from Blair White. Shu learned that from Blair White. Shuonhead learned that from Blair White. Remember when Blair White did the thing where she said trans women who've gotten bottom surgery can't get cervical cancer and then showed a clip from the Canadian Cancer Society to make it look like they couldn't, but literally the next paragraph after what she deliberately cut says they can get cervical cancer and trans women who've gotten bottom surgery should get checked for it. So it was just Blair spreading dangerous misinfo. Damn! Shu learned! She learned. Listen, guys, I want to be very clear here. I knew Shu for a while, alright? I know what she's actually like. I feel like I'm pretty good at reading people. Didn't Shu apologize to you? No, Shu basically did the I disavow thing. She literally said, I disavow, while doing, like, the Pepe face. While talking to Keffals, because I got people in Keffals' chat to get Keffals to ask about all that. She also didn't say anything about specifically featuring Demon Mama as the only uncensored figure in her video, and implying Demon Mama was defending pedophilia. Like Shuon had spent the entire video getting her audience enraged about, like, the pedo groomer shit, and then funneled all of their hatred towards one singular person she actually identified in the video by not censoring their identity, and that was Demon Mama, the one trans person she covered in her response. Just funnel all of her fans to send hate to one trans person who's criticized her. It was very blatant. It was very, very blatant. I mean, those are red flags. That is true. If kids are joking about that, it is a red flag, but the police and the school already signed off on it not being threatening and just being jokes, especially considering the fact that, like, the school, they're talking about the school in question, and also the kids homeschooled too, so, like, yeah, it was clearly memes. That's really all I have to say about it.